Hi, in this video we'll look at different kind of news and how we can add them from the club admin panel. For that, let's go to the news section of the admin panel. As you can see, since we have not created any news, the page is empty. Let's go ahead and click add news. There are multiple options for the news. Image is one of them, which is optional as you can see here. For this particular case, let's go ahead and add an image. I normally add an image of 200 by 200 for news. Date is when you can specify when the news would go live. You can have the news go live at a certain date and it would show up as and when the time and date occurs. For now, I'm just gonna drop this down and select today's date at 8 a.m. with the title. You can see that it's a rich text editor, so you can bold it, underline it, and any other stuff. Page active makes a page live or news live in this case, which is what we want. And now is the important part, news placement. If you select none as the news placement, which means this particular news will only show up on the news section of the website. If you select front, this particular news will show up on the main page of the website in what is known as the news highlight section, and I'll show you where that is. However, if you select featured, the same news will show up on its own standalone with just the image in one of the columns of the main website. Let's keep it featured to show what I mean. Accessibility is the same as we have been talking about. By public means anyone can see it, private means only the members can see it, and admin means only the admin can see it. Of course I want this news to be public, so I'm going to keep it public and hit save. There we go. This particular news is active and is featured. So let's look at what featured means. If I now go to my club's main page, you can see that it shows up as an image here on the main page, upon clicking which it will take me to the news. And there we go. We now have our news linked from the main page as a featured item. Each news also has Facebook comment, which you can post your comments on, and it will be stored on this page. Let's go back to the admin page, to the news. Now let's add another news. This time I'm not going to add any image. However, I'm going to keep the date and time the same. So this would be 8 a.m. and this time I'm going to say there we go. I'll make it active. This time I'm going to select front and I'm going to keep it public. So let's hit save. You can see the news location for the first one was featured, however for this one it's front page. And the difference between those two is if we go to the main page again, is now that news shows up under the news highlight. Let's add a few more news. This time I'm going to make it active and keep it none, but keep the accessibility public. When doing so, we have now covered all three different news locations. But where does this news page go? If you go to the main page, you will not see the latest news that we added because the featured news show up here, one after the other in this column. The news highlights, which is basically known on the section as front, will show up here in two different columns. Whereas the rest of the news, when you select none, goes under this news. Along with the other news, we will see that we also have the news that we added there, which is news only on news page. There we go. However, let's also try out news that we can add. This time I'm gonna have a featured ad, so I'm gonna select another 200 by 200 then. Gonna have that 8 as always. I'm gonna make it active, I'm gonna make it featured, but this time I'm gonna make it private. Okay, now let's go to the main page. You can see that now we have both our featured news showing up here. However, one of them is public accessibility, whereas the other one is private. And as with everything else, if I log out, the one that was made private goes away. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.